Alright, welcome to another video about the Igni Ferroque mod. This is going to be a quick video showcasing some of the maps that have been added. I've done the preview picture, and I've also done a watermark of the name of the person who made the map, just to give credit. This is just so I can do map making contests and stuff, and accept maps from pretty much anyone, and they'll be credited here. So I'm just going to start off with, let's see, Scorched Earth. So this is Scorched Earth, and it's my first attempt at a trench warfare style map. It's kind of tough to make trenches in the Medieval 2 map editor because this is like the smallest brush size you can get. But I have made the trenches hideable, as you can see by the grass here. It uses certain terrain that lets troops hide in it. So if you can see these musketeers here, they're actually hiding and ready to get some shots off. Pikemen can't hide, but I just thought it looked cool. Yeah, so I've taken all late period units here, just for that theme, and I've given the enemy an entire army of peasants, because why not? Yeah, ranging the musketeers and arquebusiers now. Yeah, arquebusiers would be a lot better against peasants because of the splash damage. Yeah, I'm just going to give you an overall feel of the map, just flying around here real quick. Yeah, so this is my first attempt at the trench warfare style. I think it turned out right. I've never seen another trench warfare style map in Medieval 2 before though. So this could be a first, it could not, it's possible. I've seen quite a few mods, but never anything like this. Yeah, so you get the basic idea. This is my second attempt at a trench warfare map, and this time I've added lots of different terrain features to add tactical advantages. So they're the parallel trenches along the front. They're not as irregular as the first map, just to make it a little more fair. You can hide in these as well, but I've also added this trench down the front, which can be good because if you're trying to march across this bit, there's no man's land here. Instead of marching across there, you can march across here, and the enemy won't get line of sight on you from the side. So that can be a pretty neat tactical advantage. You could also station some musketeers up on this side, this hill here, and shoot down into their trench on the side. Behind the lines, there's also this raised area here, which is great for artillery, and you can even put some musketeers on the front, in front of the artillery as well. And behind these hills on both sides is this trench type thing at the back here, which is kind of a last resort, like last fallback point. Yeah, so this is the second trench warfare style map. Expect some more in the future when I get some more ideas for stuff to add to maps like this. On to the next one. So this next map is TwoFort. Some of you might get the reference. It's two castles. Yeah, castles. It's not fortresses. That might be a bit too big. So it's two castles facing off against each other. I've never seen anything like this in Medieval 2 before. Both players start with a castle, and you can attack, you can defend, you can do what you want. So let me show you. Let me get my UI up real quick. So you can put units on walls. It all works. Let me just put some archers up defending, and maybe some spearmen here. Right, so the gates here, they don't function as gates, so you can just walk straight through them, and the enemy as well, which means you don't necessarily need siege equipment to fight on this map, which is both good and bad, depending on how you feel about it. There's also a slight problem with cannons not being able to target walls. So as you can see, I can't target a wall or a tower, but if there is a unit on there, you can target the unit and it will destroy the wall. So if the enemy had artillery, they could shoot this wall because it's got my archers on it. It's just a funky mechanic that I can't do anything about. But yeah, this is just terrain to play around. There's no need, there's no objectives in here, so there's no need to capture it. It's just a fun kind of themed battle. Yeah, so this is TwoFort. Never seen anything like this before. Well, this is a unique type map I made, but I could be wrong. Yeah, as you can see, archers shooting from the battlements. It works fine, like just like a normal siege defense. There's only those couple problems that I mentioned, but otherwise it works completely fine. And also, if it's a 2v2, it's kind of split in half. So one player on each team deploys in each half. It's pretty neat. So, Grassy Plain has always been the go-to for a fair map. It's the flat height advantage makes a big difference in Medieval 2, and having a completely flat map that it's literally an even playing field for both players. So I've made quite a few flat maps. So like Sandy Plain. Sometimes there's maps you didn't quite notice as well. So like Church Landings I've made pretty much flat. Flat Crusade I've ported from the Crusades expansion, that's flat. Holy Ground is flat. Islet, it may not look flat, but the part where both players fight is actually flat. So this is a bit of an interesting map I made. It has basically 3 levels of strategic value. So there's the forests on this side, there is the fort in the middle, and there is a raised area, a slight hill, and there's also the outer hill for extreme flanking. So there's 3 different areas to fight for with 3 different levels of interest. So for example, if you had, say, a piece of siege equipment and you managed to take the fort, you could keep that very well defended in here. So like a mortar or something. And you just keep bombarding the enemy. The forest is great for ambushes and mass flanks. So you could creep a huge amount of units hidden in the forest like that. And the hill advantage is great for shooting down on the fort and also for controlling the flank. And it's not nearly as risky as charging through a forest where there could be any number of enemies in there. So yeah, it's quite a neat dynamic. Lots of different things can happen here depending on which things each player deems important. So one player could think the fort's more important and focus more heavily on that, for example. Yeah, you can get some good battles in here. So this is a pretty weird map I made. There's this mountain range straight through the middle of the map, and then there's this one choke point both players go through. And I picked stupid armies for this, but whatever. This is inspired by a Dawn of War map called Into the Breach, and I've named it the same thing, so it's called Into the Breach. I haven't seen many choke point maps that aren't bridge battles, and this has got quite a space to fight through compared to a bridge battle. So I thought I'd try that out. There's also slight hills over here, so if you can get good archers, they can shoot over the mountain here. So this is Crevice, I think. This is quite a unique map. It's similar idea to a bridge battle, where you have the choke point that people are forced down, but this also has a higher ground where you can. This is quite good to seize control of because you can get archers to shoot down, and this is quite a high height advantage, so you can get a lot more range on that. This flanking area is open to more than 1v1 size, so if it's 2v2, perhaps even 3-person free-for-all, then this part opens up. Like, the map gets bigger. Yeah, this is pretty much it. I suppose a neat map. There's also a raised area here where you can fall back to if you lose the front. So it's like a last stand for defending if they break through your front lines. So this map is called Drought. This is because it's a dried up river, and you can see the grass is starting to die as well. On 1v1, this map tends to take place on this area here. This bit tends to be more for scenery because the map cuts off. But when you start getting at 3-person freefall, this map can get quite interesting because one person starts at a very advantageous position and they can use these walls, they can put troops up there. You don't need anything to batter down these gates, you can just walk through them. So what tends to happen is these two players don't like that this person has a significant advantage, so they tend to get a temporary alliance to attack this one, but because it's such a good position, it can be an even match, or it can if they're winning significantly, one of them might try and backstab the other. It can make for some interesting dynamics. In normal maps, say like in a grassy plain, if you're at a 3-person freefall, what can happen a lot of the time is just one person sits back, and the other two fight, and then the person that sat back tends to fight what's left of the winner's army, and that can get kind of boring because it's just a steamroll at the end. What this map tends to do, it tends to force them to band up to fight the main evil because of the advantageous position. And if they don't band up, they might actually lose. So that's the thought behind this map. It's quite interesting. There's 3 different ways onto the island. There's 2 bridges and a land bridge as well. So yeah. I mean, it could actually be improved by having a small land bridge here. I might consider doing that in the future. But that's the Drought map. This map is Enclose, I think. This is kind of a weird experimental map. Both players start kind of the at sides of the hill where you can't actually go up it. So this cliff face prevents you marching up that. You can, however, go on the flanks, and this tends to be a battle of guessing the enemy's flanks and responding appropriately. It tends to be the person who owns the top has a huge advantage, and if you can draw them down from the top, that's great, but otherwise you have to siege it. But both players get an equal chance at the top, so it's basically a battle of initiative, this one. Can make for some interesting battles. This map is called Königstraße. It's made by King's Destroyer. This is quite an interesting map. It's got kind of 2 roads for like a highway going down the middle. Both players start on a smaller hill, but they can contest for a larger hill in the middle. This can create some interesting dynamics. There is forest you can hide in on both sides, which you have to pass through road though to get to it. This is a pretty neat map actually. It's very simple, but these slight additions to terrain can actually make a huge difference to gameplay. It's a very fun map to play on. This map is called Revolt. It's meant for kind of a peasant revolt type scenario. Both players start inside this huge city, and you can deploy in the streets. The AI doesn't understand how to though, so this is entirely a player versus player map. You can use the gates, you don't have to batter them down, you just walk through them. This tends to be a battle for the center almost a lot of the time, because when you're stuck in the alleys and the streets, you're at a kind of a disadvantage because your troops are so blobbed up. So what tends to be the best case scenario is to take the center, and when I've played it, that tends to be what's happened. You can actually send cavalry all the way around the edge though, as you can see. Not that side, but the other side you can, and going through different gates, so you can get some surprise flanking, although it is hard and does take a while. Yeah, it's just a kind of a weird idea for a map. Haven't seen it being done before. Both players start inside the city and they fight for it. That's pretty much it. Alright, this map is Supply Route. This is the first map I ever made, and it's basically grassy plains, but with this raised road down the middle. Which, it may not seem like much, but it interrupts line of sight. It actually gives a very good bonus for taking the initiative and attacking this part quickly. So if one player sits back a bit and the other player goes to attack and then takes this ground and holds it, they're at a big advantage. So in grassy plains, sometimes what happens is one player just tends to sit back and try and bring the enemy to them, whereas this discourages that. Yeah, it's a very simple map, but gameplay wise it works out sound. These have been some of the more unique Igni Ferroque maps. There's a lot of maps and I'm constantly adding more, whether I make them, get ideas to make them, or whether people send them to me. And yeah, if you've enjoyed it, feel free to check out Igni Ferroque mod, and if you're interested, make me some maps and I will add them into the mod. Yeah, so that's it. So see you next time.